Hey guys! So today I want to show you a new palette I got. It's this Morphe palette that I ordered off of Sephora. It's called Natural Glow, or Nature Glow, sorry. Beautiful nudes. The sun kind of fucks it up, so there you go. Beautiful, beautiful browns and oranges. Nice and warm, my favorite. So I'm gonna play with that today. And so far on my skin, I have two ordinary products. Can't remember what they're called. That's something I'm gonna get into in another video, is I'm gonna talk about some of the new face skincare stuff that I'm using. But because my skin right now is on the drier side, due to the fact that I'm using slightly different products and the weather here has just been all over the place, I'm going to use my Tatcha Luminous Dewy Skin Mist. So this guy's just a sample. I got it in a pack with two other products. I really like Tatcha, but in winter, the water cream that I use just isn't thick enough. So some luminous dewy mist just to keep me nice and hydrated underneath my foundation today. And then I'm gonna go in with my Fenty primer. This is just my favorite primer at the moment. I don't really like to spend money on primers because it's so rare that I wear makeup. So I'll buy one and I'll use that for a bit, or until it runs out, or until I feel like I need a new one. Yes, I'm putting that on my lips. My lips are dry, don't judge me. So I'm gonna get a little bit up on my lids. I'm just gonna let that settle in for a minute. Now, most people wouldn't do their eye primer at this point in time. A lot of time people are gonna do their foundation, but for today, I just kind of want to. So I'm gonna use my Urban Decay eyeshadow primer. It's just the original one. And I'm just gonna slap this on. And there goes my mascara. So I'm just putting a little bit of this on my eyelid, and I'm gonna pat it down with my finger. So I don't know about anyone else out there, but has anyone got really dry eyelids lately? So first time probably ever in my life, I'm starting to get dry patches on my eyelids. Super random. I'm making a fucking mess over here. Everything's falling over because I put my giant makeup traveling kit on my table to bring my phone up high. All right. You know what I'll do? I'll clean up as I go, and that will alleviate some of this disaster. That goes in there, that goes in there. Mascara, I'll pick up after. So I'm gonna use an Old Faithful today, my MAC foundation. It's the Pro Longer foundation. You can find this in Sephora now, so they've taken MAC and they've actually put it into Sephora, which I find super interesting. So this is NC15. It's the Pro Longwear foundation. I know I said that already. Just gonna give it a good little shake. This guy's probably at its end for usage and expiration. Now, if you look on the back, it'll say 24 months. So yeah, this is about right. I'm probably near the end of this. So 2 years. If you're unsure of what I'm talking about, where's the little camera thing? So right here, that will tell you how long you can keep something for. Now, sometimes it's kind of hard to remember when you got a certain item. So you can always take a Sharpie and write the date on it so that you know. That is not something that I've done. I just have a general idea as to when I've purchased things. So it's time for that one probably to go. Fake Beauty Blender, it's damp. We're just gonna bounce this all over the skin. So the reason why I like the Pro Longwear by MAC, especially in NC15, is once I get this blended, you'll see that it's very, very close to my skin tone. So that's number one. I do have a hard time matching my skin tone. I don't find that there are many foundations out there that really work with combination. I would say I'm very much a combination of pink and yellow. It just depends on the time of year, as well as the fact that I have some darker spots just from sun damage around my nose and under my eyes. But this MAC Pro Longwear NC15 works really well. I also find it a little bit more moisturizing. So it's a decent coverage, decent moisturization aspect to it. So it doesn't dry crazy matte, which when you have sort of a little bit of drier skin on certain days, it's really nice because then you're not getting that crusty look. And yeah, so if you've never tried it, you can get a sample. I'm sure most of you know this already, but you can get samples when you go to MAC or Sephora, because otherwise, how are you gonna know if something's gonna work on your skin or if you're gonna have an allergic reaction, right? So the sun's kind of moving around and fucking everything up, but whatever. All right, so foundation's on. You may have noticed I don't apply it directly to the sponge. I put it on my hand. I just find it takes a little less product when you do that, in the sense that you're not going to put it on your sponge, start dabbing it all over your face, and then have too much product. So you have a little bit more, I don't know what the word is I'm looking for. This happens often. So next up, I'm going to do my eyebrows. So if you've watched any of my videos before, I use the same eyebrow pencil every single time. I used to use the Anastasia Dip Brow, but I have thicker eyebrow hairs. My brows are now microbladed, and I just don't like it. I used it for a long time, and you know what? It worked when I had less brow, I suppose. And now that I don't have to color in much. I'm sorry. I've had like maybe this much coffee today. It's Saturday. My brain is wandering. Words are not coming too easily to me. So this pencil has the little brow brush and the little pencil end. I have tried the NYX one, I have tried the MAC one, I have tried the Burberry one. Anastasia is the only one that I suggest. So you can try going with a cheaper brand, but the problem I do find with some cheaper brands on some products is the actual pencil part. So if we do this, for example, that part won't work as well, especially over something like a foundation or if you have an eye primer. So that is why I suggest this one over the other ones. What I do to start is sometimes I brush up first, sometimes I brush down. I'm gonna brush down first. So I'm just brushing the hairs of my brows down. So you can kind of really see, oh no, see when I move into the sun, you don't see as much, but you can definitely sort of see where the microblading is. So we're the shadowing. That's where I've had microblading. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna fill that area in with the pencil. So it's very minimal, just tiny little swipes, nothing crazy. And then I'm just gonna brush it up and away. So I had my pinky on my face here. You can see that there's been some transfer. I'll fix that after. Then I'm gonna go under my brow, brush up. You can see how long those eyebrow furries are. And I'm gonna fill in the holes just under my brow. Speaking of brows, I need to get mine dealt with. So I usually just do, like, I'll pluck the little randoms, but I really need to get them reshaped, and to be honest, I need a bit of a touch-up. Now, the one part that needs a little love is just through here. So this little area here, I have a lot of, like, pieces missing, so I'm just gonna fill in the gaps. with tiny little strokes. So you're not pressing hard by any means. It's like the tiniest, tiniest little bit. If you push really hard, you're gonna get a really, really like over too much definition. And then again, brush it through. I'm gonna do my best to stay out of the sun for you guys because it just blows everything out. So you can see on this side, I'm starting underneath my brow. I have preferences just because of the fact that I'm like right-handed. But also this eyebrow gives me more of a headache than the other one. It's just shaped differently. So it's really like super fast. I've said this before with microblading, just because you have it, it doesn't mean that you shouldn't fill your brows in or that it won't be necessary to. If you have microblading and you're putting a face of makeup on, you're still gonna wanna do something with your brows because it will still be too light compared to the rest of the makeup that you do. It's really nice when you're not wearing makeup a lot, so I rarely wear it because I work in a gym all day. So I'm very thankful to have the brows. I'm going to work on my eyes next, and then we'll do the concealer, highlight, contour. So get to use my Morphe palette. Super excited, and I like that my drawer is open right now and I can actually just stick it in this drawer. Now brushes are something that I need to invest in. I'm definitely thinking I'll make an order through Morphe on that. I'm going to start today with just placing down a base color. So as you saw earlier, I put my, oh my gosh, you know what? I think I broke my, yeah, I did. I broke my big flat brush. So, what are you? I'm gonna use this guy. So this is not a brush I would normally use. This is just some cheapo I picked up at Walmart. But I'm looking for a flat brush to cover my entire eye, and I forgot that I broke it and had to throw it out. So, I'm going to go in first and cover with, what is this called? You know what? I'm gonna do it this way. I'm gonna see it. So up front is the white one up here. So I'm gonna go in and cover my eyelid with up front. Woo, pigment. Okay, so number one, lots of pigment. And this is just gonna set a base for the other color. Other colors. Now, I hate this brush. It picked up a lot of pigment, but it didn't really, there we go. There we go. Perfect. So what I'm doing with this base color is just covering the entire lid to mute any of the discoloration that I already have. So veins tend to show through, that little bit of sort of eczema patches that I'm experiencing, dark spots, etc. I'm just going to try and neutralize them. If I had the MAC Painterly pot, which I used to have, I would probably use that as my eye base primer, but I don't have it anymore. So I had to use the Urban Decay one, and the Urban Decay one doesn't cover anything. It just primes it. So next up, I'm going to go into my crease with a MAC crease brush. Now you're probably thinking, Sarah, why are you rummaging around in a drawer? Why didn't you pull this stuff out earlier? Good question. I don't know. All right, so I'm gonna go in with So Fetch, which is the third one down. 1, 2, 3. So this guy right here. It's a nice little nude, nice little brown. I wish this had a mirror. This would be so much better if there was a mirror up here, because I find this mirror really big. And we're gonna go in and create that crease. So all I'm doing, just like you would if you were contouring your face, is I'm contouring my eye. So I'm making some depth. And I'm choosing nudes today because I have a nice nude shirt on. But we might add some sparkle to it. So far, the pigmentation of these Morphe shadows, very strong. I am impressed. Very much like a MAC or a Jeffree Star. They're smooth. They're blending well from what I can tell. I'm a fan. And $30 for this palette. I can't. It's amazing. So I'm really big on blending, as you can tell. I just don't like seeing any weird lines. Okay, so I'm gonna wanna darken my crease just a little bit, more so to the outside. I really like this brown here in the middle. So this guy right here, it's like a taupey brown. This one must be 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. This one is called Choco, like chocolate. Perfect. So I'm just gonna dip in this one, and I'm gonna do the outside corner a little bit darker. So we're gonna place the pigment right in the corner and just buff inwards slightly. So I'm doing some nice rounding and then getting right underneath that crease. Ooh, yeah, this is super pigmented. I am so down with this. Where'd my Choco go? There we go. Other side. So I'm bringing it further onto the lid and then up into the crease as well. And then with that, I'm doing tiny little circles to buff it all in. And I'll be blending this out again with another brush in a minute. So you can see how one side I have a little bit of a different eye shape to my two eyes, which is very frustrating. Okay, so what I'm gonna do just to clean this up is I'm gonna use a thicker buffing brush and go all along the outside. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna brush it out and then I'm gonna add a third. Okay, so I'm just gonna go in and I'm gonna buff. So tiny little circles to blend those two colors that I placed and brush out. So elongating and making sure that there's no like super harsh colors. Okay, so you can kind of see on this side, it's a little bit softer. This side right now, it's still a little messy. So that's why we go in with this buffing brush. And we're just gonna clean it up. Yay, allergy season, constantly stuffed up. Okay, perfect. So this is nicely blended out. What I'd like to do is just place something on the lid to the inner corner. And generally what I like to do is something with a little bit of shimmer. Now I've got two that I'm looking at. Oh, perfect, the sun is kind of away. I've got this guy right over here that I really like, which is called Pop. 1, 2, 3, yeah, Pop. And then up here I have Clear. So between these two. Now, because I have a little bit of like that rosy gold feeling, I'm gonna go with the Pop. And what I'm going to use to place this is just a flat MAC brush. It is 242. This guy. So I'm just going to gently dip into Pop. Get a nice decent amount of pigment on there. Okay, so you can see that. And we're going to place this right on the middle of the lid. Oh yeah. So I'm just going to go up into the crease just slightly and pull it out to the side. Okay, so it's just going right on here. Nothing like a little shimmer. Perfect. Other side. So I start in the middle, I'm going to bring it down into the corner, bring it slightly back up and out, just to pull it into the crease. Now I have a really nice shimmer on there that I like. Okay, so it's going to add depth. And then what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to use the, what was it, Clear, which was that second one, further out to the side. So it's a little bit more, it's top, third in. Because that one is a little bit less pink, I'm going to use that same brush and I'm going to put it directly into the corner of my eye. So just to brighten it up. I'm going to bring it a little bit underneath as well. So just right into this corner. Okay. Again, just adding some depth. It's going to brighten that corner a little bit. And then we're going to work on the bottom part. Chances are when I put my concealer on, I'll probably have to do this part again. But for now, we're just going to try and brighten up the inner corner of my eye. It's a beautiful sunny day, so why the fuck not? All right, done and done. So for the bottom part of my lid, I'm going to use the similar colors. Now, I've mentioned this before, I don't do eyeliner for a couple of reasons, mostly because my eyesight's just not the best. So what I like to use is this MAC angled brush, and I'm going to go in with a pretty dark brown. So I'm going to go in with Slight, which is this middle dark brown here, and I'm going to basically line the lash line underneath my eye. So I'm going to press it up under my eyelashes and pull it up and out. So I'm just doing a little flick out to match the depth on top. So I'm starting more or less from the middle of my eyeball, and I'm just going to pull that up and out. Bring it a little bit closer in. Sometimes you'll get a little bit more pigment on one side than the other, and that's fine. Just try to match it. And then what I'll take is the crease brush, so the tapered crease brush that I used for my initial lay down. I'm going to use this underneath, and I'm just going to buff it out. And then I like to bring it back up into the crease. So a lot of time people will say, like, don't attach your eyeliner. I get that, it makes your eye look smaller, but I'm not doing eyeliner. What I'm doing is I'm swiping the pigment up and out, so it's away from my eyes. Last thing I do is mascara, which I need to retrieve from underneath my desk, so excuse me. Hi, Feist. Hi, baby. I'm gonna do 2 mascaras today just because I've been having issues. Hi, sweetheart. Can you get down? Can you get down, please? Whoa. 2 mascaras. I'm gonna use my Old Faithful Roller Lash by Benefit, and I'm also gonna use my Lights Camera Lashes by Tarte. So I'm gonna go with my roller lash first and then my Lights Camera lashes. And the reason being is I love my roller lash because it's good at separating, but I don't find it gives me enough volume. So I'm gonna use the Tarte one for volume. The roller lash looks like this. I'm just gonna do one quick little swoopy layer. So no fucking fake eyelashes, no lash extensions, no eyeliner. I don't need that in my life. Again, there's nothing wrong with it, but I work in a gym. I put makeup on maybe once a week. It's an investment that I just don't need to make. Yeah, it would be great to have beautiful, long, thick, full fake lashes every day, but it's just not necessary. You know, not to start any sort of controversy, but I do find that this industry is getting a little out of hand with the amount of fake eyelashes, hair extensions, Botox, lip things, plumpers, all of the different things we can do for our skin now. Just, yes, keeping a youthful glow is important, but I think that there's really something to be said about trying to maintain your natural beauty up until a certain age. Whereas we've got women in their 20s doing Botox, fillers, just plastic surgery, and you're so young, like nothing's happening yet. Wait until you're 40 and you actually start getting wrinkles and the dark circles under your eyes and these fucking things. Like, no, I'm in my early 30s, I'm not 40, but I don't know. And I find it so deceiving. Especially I feel bad for men. Men don't necessarily have that luxury in terms of the aesthetics side of things. Yes, they can have Botox. Yes, they can do lip fillers, but I mean, I don't think many of them do. And I don't know. I don't know if it's really teaching women how to be strong, beautiful, smart, independent women when all we're focused on is what we see on Instagram, which are like perfectly matte faces, perfectly drawn on eyebrows, fake eyelashes, contoured so harsh that they're drag queens. They're completely changing the way their face looks. I don't know. If you're a drag queen, then that's your thing. You know, it's an art form. It's a presentation that you put on. Like, the amount of makeup I'm putting on today is a shit ton of makeup, and I'm not even doing anything crazy. So I don't know. If it's for artful expression, sure. But if you're completely changing the way you naturally look, I don't know. I can't get on board with that. Okay, sorry for my rant. Ah! Now, concealer. Why do I wear concealer? Because, as you can see, I am one of these people with some discoloration. You know why I have this discoloration? Because in my late teens and early 20s, I never wore sunscreen, ever. Being tanned was like the coolest thing in the early 2000s, right? So I'm just gonna put a little bit where I really need it. I'm not doing any like crazy highlight with it, but we're just gonna try and fix some of this shit under here. I wish concealer could hide this line a little bit better. I am gonna put just a little bit on there, nothing crazy. So this is something when I'm older I could potentially get, you know, filler for, but not gonna happen anytime soon. Okay, and I'm going to use that same beauty blender, fake beauty blender, and we're just gonna dab that on. So this fake beauty blender I picked up for like $5 at a Marshall's. I don't remember the brand. And I have picked up a few that are too hard, but this one really, really feels like a beauty blender, and it bounces really, really well, blends really, really well. So $25 for a piece of foam at Sephora or $5 at Marshall's, your choice. I'm trying not to get the concealer into the eyeshadow that I've placed. So you'll see I'll still have discoloration in here. It's just not something I can really get rid of unless I do a color corrector. But again, I'm not going to any event. I'm just going to run errands and probably going to go to the gym at some point. So far, so good. All right, so I have this tiny little Hoola by Benefit, this tiny little guy. This is my bronzer slash contour. As you can tell, there's no depth to my face right now. There's a little bit of highlight under my eye from the concealer, but for the most part, it's very flat. That is what happens when you put foundation on. So we do have to play a little bit with the shadows of our skin. Where the fuck? I seem to have misplaced my contour brush. Either that or I just can't see it. Yeah, wonder where that one went. Okay, no big deal. I'm gonna use whatever brush this is. This is a Sephora brush that I found in my drawer. I'm gonna use it because it's got this like somewhat of a flatter edge to it. Okay, so it's not super puffy. And I'm just gonna dip into my Hoola with the tip, just the tip, ladies, okay? And what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna outline where my cheekbone is. So for a lot of you, you can kind of feel cheekbone just underneath it, high-faced. And we're just gonna do a little line through here, okay? So it's gonna be super harsh at first because I'm creating that line, okay? And then we're just gonna brush it in. And I'm just gonna bring it up. Don't love that brush. Okay, I'm gonna use this fluffier brush for the rest of this up high. So I'm gonna just add some color to the outside of my forehead, so closer to your hairline. It would be as though I had a little bit of a tan. And then a little bit under here. Okay, so I don't know if you can tell the difference between this side, a little bit of contour, a little bit of color. Okay, so my face is less fat looking essentially. I don't have a fat face, but see that? And then this side, very flat, very round. So talking about deception, that is what contour does. It makes it, it's the illusion of having a higher cheekbone or a skinnier face. So you'll see this a lot with really round faces. They will contour and contour and contour to create a more oval or more angular face. So I'm gonna do the same thing on this side. I'm just going right underneath the highest part of my cheekbone to create some depth. I'm gonna do a little bit up here just because I'll buff it out with that other brush in a sec. I can use this brush on my forehead because it's a larger circumference. That's not the right word, surface area. Okay, and then I'm gonna use the fluffy brush again, just to buff it all around. Get a little bit under here as well. So why do I do this? To make myself feel pretty, not gonna lie. When you don't wear makeup often, you get really used to just like how you look. So I find putting on a little bit of makeup just makes me feel more feminine, a little bit more attractive, just I don't know, I like it too. I like seeing what I can do with different colors, different eyeshadows that I invest in. Yeah, that's pretty good. So I could, if I wanted to, I'm not gonna do it today because again, I'm just going out and about, but what you can also do is contour your nose. So if you have a really wide nose, you can make it skinnier by placing darkness down here and then highlight here. So from the front, it's gonna look very, very skinny, but you can see for me, like I have a nose, it sticks out, especially on this side, right? So it's, you could try and contour underneath. So I could put dark here and make it look really cute, but the fuck, it's my nose. If you change your nose, you change your face. So no contour on the nose today. Little bit of, what is this? Blush by Tarte. Just in case you guys haven't noticed, I use a lot of minis. Again, because I don't wear this stuff too often, I don't invest a ton of money into it. I used to when I was doing some freelancing on the side, but now that I don't get my artistry discount at MAC anymore, and I've spent so much money at Sephora that it's just, yeah, it's not worth it. So I'll do minis as much as possible, and I'll do trial sizes and samples. So yeah, that's my story on why you keep on seeing tiny little minis of everything. Some blush by Tarte, just on the apples of my cheeks. So again, just to give myself a little bit of life, because when you put foundation on, it's very one-dimensional. You'll look very flat, like a corpse. And last thing on my cheeks is going to be my highlighter, which I was trying to decide between my tiny little Becca. So I've got this one, which has kind of like more of a gold tone to it. It's really hard to see. Or my Fenty Beauty, which I obviously love, which is a little bit more warm. I'm thinking Fenty. It goes like nicely with this. And what I'm gonna do is just this tiny little tapered brush. I would actually prefer a smaller one, but we're gonna go in with this guy on the top of the cheekbone. Oh, look, there's a tiny little mirror. Am I getting it in the right spot? Use the residue off of the mirror. Doing anything on this side's a challenge. And then, not gonna lie, I do like to do the little tip of my nose and just over my lip. If only this light would stop fucking around. I love highlighter, so I'm putting more on. I just like when it looks wet, you know? Which, if you do a certain look, is pretty cool. Again, obviously for today, probably not necessary, but whatever. All right, last but not least, my lips, and then I'll blow dry this disaster. I clearly need to get my hair done. Ooh, I like to do nudes, of course. And as you guys know, I like my Jeffree Star makeup. So I am gonna use my Christmas cookie. Okay, so if anyone's ever used Jeffree Star, then you know how good these doe feet are. No scent to this one. Sometimes there's a little bit of a peppermint scent. There is not today. I have to focus pretty hard to get these on because A, eyesight, and B, my lips are actually a little bit uneven side to side. I'm not too sure it's because I had this pierced or because I had this pierced or because I had this pierced, but there's a lot of unsymmetrical parts to my face and my lips are one of them. So here we go. Oh fuck, I love this color. It's so natural. This might be my favorite color. I always forget about it, and I probably shouldn't talk while I'm doing this. Oh, it's such a good color. Fuck yes. I just noticed there's a piece of fur from my sweater stuck to like my nose and lip. Because that's not annoying. Lips are done. I need to get this piece of fur off my face. Okay, got it. So setting sprays, I have a few. It's dry-ish out. I may or may not go to the gym. What did I reach for? Long-lasting, oil-free, Urban Decay all-nighter. Fuck it. It's the one I reached for. It's the one I got. Oh, it feels so refreshing. And what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna press that into my skin a little bit. So I'm not going everywhere, I'm just going kind of where I really need it to settle. Especially if I were to wear my sunglasses today, I don't want my nose to completely fall apart. Which happens when you wear like glasses, you know, it's gonna move your foundation. And then right in the middle of my forehead. There we go. That's my face. So, you know, this usually wouldn't take very long to do, but when I'm talking and explaining things, it takes a little bit longer. So I will blow dry my hair, and a picture will be posted on social media with the link to the YouTube, well, what you guys are watching. So if you want to see what this actually looks like completely finished with my hair, it will be up on Instagram at snipstylemua, but this is pretty much the finishing look. What do you guys think? That's it. Thanks for watching.